in Iraq, we would breach the door and the guys would throw the guns out the window or over the wall, and they'd be like, oh, and they're crying and screaming. You're like, oh, in Afghanistan?
Now, so are you doing any missions at that time to take down some of those terror cells or whatever when you were there?
We were training the local nationals as well as trying to gather intel to share with other entities. Yeah.
So there's... Okay, so you do it. It's a similar setup in that, yes, you're working with the local guys, include the local military, but you have your intel people, like you were talking about, your NASA station in Iraq. You have a similar type setup here with them in the Philippines.
Correct.
And I'm trying to think and keep it straight, but like, 06, 07, this kind of area is the main, I guess, like, top line target that these cells are operating off of still Al Qaeda at this point? Is that more?
They're the one of the three aforementioned, Abu Sayyaf, MILF, MLF. Same concept.
So they're not with it. They're not like
I'm
off branches at all.
I'm sure they have the same flags. They're like, oh, we're brothers of bad guys together.
No,
yeah. So they're yes, one and the same.
Okay, and that was like 6 months being there.
Yep.
So you come back now. You go into selection for SEAL Team 6.
Correct.
What's this like?
It was wild. It's like super intense. There's you go into a room to do room clearing, and there's like 4 instructors in the rafters watching 2 of you, and there's like 3 instructors on the ground watching you, like this far from your face, like really not to, oh, you went too far, or you did excuse me, you did this, you did that, and I was like, damn, like straight up, like no room for error. And it was like that for 6 months with every block of training.
How many guys were looking to come in?
I can't really say, but I can say by the end of it, and these are all like rock star dudes that even showed up, we had half at the end. Yeah.
So they just went back to other teams?
Yeah, they went back. They probably went back to the SEAL team they came from, yeah.
Whoa. That's intense.
Yeah.
So you finish that. Now you show up to the actual team.
Correct.
And you're loading up to go, no?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this Fallujah or?
No, my first one was Afghanistan.
So you went to Afghanistan?
Yeah.
In 07?
I think 08.
Okay, 08.
Yeah.
Now, what's going on in Afghanistan at the time? Like, what was that like?
Just like legit bad guys, like legit fighters. And I tell people, in Iraq, we would breach the door and the guys would throw the guns out the window or over the wall, and they'd be like, oh, and they're crying and screaming. You're like, oh, in Afghanistan, you can call in AC-130 gunships and they'll keep running at you. I'm like, oh, these dudes are fucking down. Like, jihad is real here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was eye-opening to see those 2 different theaters and the actors you're fighting against.
Yeah, it's also a whole completely different terrain.
Yeah, because we were mountains. Yeah, we were rolling around urban, city streets, and then boom, you're at 8,000 foot elevation, and you're like, fuck. And you have to walk in and go up another 2. Like, it's like, oh shit, this is like some mountain warfare shit. Yeah.
Now, did that get scary out there? Like, because it's a totally different type of tempo in how you're engaging.
The fighters were scarier.
Yeah.
But I think rolling around Iraq, like the area, that was scary to me because IEDs and you're in Humvees driving down these narrow streets, and then you see a car, like its lights start flashing. You're like, fuck, if that thing goes, we're done.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, it's those narrow streets with a bunch of cars. Like any one of these can be an IED and we're done. Yeah. That's it. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can be the best shot. You can do 1 million pull-ups. You can do a sub 4 minute mile. You're dead. So like that in your mind, you're like, fuck, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're still watching this video and you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, please take 2 seconds and go hit it right now. Thank you. But you're getting there, like, I talked to all different guys who went through Afghanistan intermittently in the years leading up to 2021. And it's like, if you look back at the beginning of that mission, post 9/11, it's one of the most successful military operations in world history. You had this whole paramilitary setup that was new at the time. They came in, they mopped the floor with a lot of that. And then obviously politically in DC, the whole thing happens where it's like, oh, we're going to Iraq now. Yeah. And it's like you take your eye off the ball, you pull all these resources out of Afghanistan, you stick it into Iraq, that's a separate issue. And it was like almost the way it's been described to me is it's almost like a slow burn over those next, let's say 03 on, those next 18 years where because there's not as much resources on the ground, the central part of the mission kind of gets lost. It's more just like blocking and tackling rather than game planning. And you get into this point, I don't know if it's 08, maybe it's 09, 10, 11, but Taliban is kind of like rising from the ashes a little bit and taking more and more itty-bitty pieces. Were you seeing that at the time you were there?
Yeah, and it's a really difficult situation because we roll into a village, hey, we heard you're helping Taliban. And they're like, yeah, we are. You're not going to just kill this guy. You can't. Like, we're not savage. I'm not going to kill this guy because...
Right.
And they go, what? Why'd you help him? He's going to cut off my head and rape my wife and kill my whole family. So, like, that's the enemy we're against. So how do I convince him? Let that happen and don't, you know what I mean? Support us instead. Like, they're fucked.
Yeah.
It was a really shitty situation to see them like, yeah, we'll help you. And then they're helping us, telling us where the IEDs are being buried. And then Taliban comes up and like, you don't fucking tell them shit or everyone's dead. And they go, roger that. So who are you going to side with? Because we're not going to go chop their heads off. Yeah.
Like in developing intel sources, though, obviously you're getting people who are then completely risking their lives because
100%.
If that were ever found
not
out,
even that, their family too.
Right. Yeah. Their whole family.
100% dead.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.